All right, here we are again for another business learning lab. We're Jen and Meredith, and this episode, like all of our episodes, is just us sharing lessons that we've learned along the way on our entrepreneurial path. And today we want to talk about doing business like a woman. And this is where I hand it off to Meredith to help me tell you why this subject is so dear to our hearts.
Yes, so thank you. Well, we have started a hashtag, Do Business Like a Woman, because we really are sort of taking this on as a movement. And it started, the revelation that this is a thing, doing business like a woman, started because we work with this amazing accounting firm that is a woman owned and run accounting firm. And they've been fantastic in helping us. And so I was recently talking to my dad, who is a lifelong entrepreneur and business owner as well. And he loves to hear my stories about business and like him about how much Spirit has grown. And I sort of in passing said, we couldn't have done it if our accountants hadn't given us a year of free billing when we first started. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, what? So I told this story about how it was the beginning of our technically second year, but like first full year after we had started Spirit. And we were struggling, as a lot of new businesses do. And we're still trying to kind of find our rhythm and figure things out. And our accountants came to us and said, look, we're doing your books. We know we are your biggest single expense. And we don't want to be the reason that you don't succeed with this company, because we think this company is amazing and you have the potential to be great. So we are going to not bill you for 1 year, for 12 months. We're going to give all the same services. We're going to give everything we would otherwise, but you're not going to get an invoice for 12 months because we believe in you. Blew our minds. It couldn't believe it. Well, and as it turned out, that was the little bit of a boost that we needed. And in 8 months into those 12 months, we were highly profitable. And I contacted them and I said, we're ready to start paying you now. We can move forward like we're making it. And they said, nope. We said 12 months. We committed to support you for 12 months. And we're going to do 12 months. And we'll talk about it on month 13. We'll move forward. And it was amazing. And so I tell the story to my dad, and his response was, wow, I guess that's what happens when women do business together. And I was like, yes, it is. And I hadn't fully even processed the fact that really was this amazing, unique thing, and had a lot to do with the fact that this was a woman-owned company, and we're a women-owned company, and that like women do tend to approach business differently. And it's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes without saying that gesture meant so much to us, emotionally, and then just practically speaking, that they thought they believed in us, which was, something that we really needed at the time, because, they believed in us and when we were even doubting ourselves. So that meant a lot. But also just investing in that relationship. They saw us as more than just a customer, but a long-term relationship. So, and I am happy to say that investment, I believe, is paying off. We have not only increased our business services with them, but as we grow and expand into, acquiring other businesses, they are our accountants for all of those transactions. And we continue to refer business to them. We've told this story on multiple platforms because I think it is so important. And not only that, but we have so many other examples, anecdotal examples of other women who, and business strategic partners and business friends who have believed in us in ways that got us to where we are today. Really, I mean, yes, it's our own hard work and volition for sure, but having people support you and lift you up and refer you and believe in your business, those are the things that can make or break you as you're growing. And, it's invaluable.
Absolutely. And it certainly was for us. And also, the other interesting thing that was happening is during that year that we were sort of having this support of our accountants, we were growing. We were doing a lot of discovery calls. We were doing a lot of learning about who our clients were, about our business processes. And what we realized was there's a really big difference when we had a discovery call with a woman and a discovery call with men. And there's not good or bad. We're not trying to get into like a gender war here, but like there are noticeable differences in the way in which men conduct themselves and women conduct themselves in these sales calls. And for us, as women, as the nature of our business, we found that we connected and were much more able to get on the same page quicker with women. And in part because it's very, women don't tend to lead with ego. They don't tend to lead with a resume. When we ask, how can we help? They answer with a very direct answer. A lot of times, just for, literal examples, like when we would have a discovery call with a man and we would say, so tell us what brought you here today, or tell us how we can help you. They start telling us how they started their company. And like 25 minutes later, they vaguely get around to sort of talking about what maybe we could help them with, but they don't really need help really, but they're just sort of exploring ideas. It's very hard as a virtual assistant placement agency to like figure out how we're going to help them. Whereas women are like, here's my problem. Here's what I need you to do to help me. Here are what my goals are. What do we do now? And so we had a much higher close ratio. So those two things together, like understanding this value of relationships that we were learning with our accountants, and then recognizing, looking at our close ratios, what works, what doesn't, like when do we connect, and really zeroing in on who our ideal client was, all came together to help us really start this objective list of like what it means to do business like a woman. And that's kind of where this started.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it was really noticing how good women are at business. Like you said, not posturing or leading with their ego, being comfortable, being vulnerable and authentic is a superpower in business, because you get to the genuineness of people and their needs, and you're able to determine whether or not you're a good fit, whether you can help each other. It just makes things, like you said, Meredith, so much easier. And I think the reason this was just so important for me to realize is that, I know this is the same for you too, is that, multiple times I have been told or given the advice of, oh, you should do, think like a man, do business like a man, be a better negotiator and bring all these masculine qualities to business. And I think what bothers us, that's always bothered me about that, is that, I don't really want to mimic, patriarchal paradigms, when we're trying to get away from, all of the negative connotations that come with a patriarchal system that is, kept women, people of color, LGBTQIA, other marginalized populations, has taken away an even playing field from all of those people. So it's been very damaging in a lot of ways. It's corrupted capitalism. I mean, we can go on and on. So just realizing in a really deep way that, no, women are really good at business, like innately. They have innate qualities. These feminine qualities are really powerful in business relationships. So, yeah.
And that we should stop trying to mimic men. And every time that advice is given, it's given with the best of intentions, but it's based on this assumption or presumption that the way to succeed in business is to maneuver our way into this patriarchy and like try not to be noticed as women, like, hide ourselves, like looking like men and sneak in, and then we'll get to make money and we'll get to have a career. And like, we just kind of like, no, forget that. We're not doing that. Like, yeah. We're not going to fight for a place at the table. We're just going to create our own table, and the men are welcome, but they're going to have to play by our rules. We're going to have to like let go of, all the intensity and the win at any cost, and, inauthenticity and ego and protective and all this other stuff that goes along with that traditionally. And it's going to be better for everybody. And it's this, we have actual experience or actual data of our own experiences, and that we grew the company 400% only working with women because we don't close a lot of calls with men. We just don't connect to them. And it's not their fault, our fault. There's a lot of women we don't close either, right? It's not, we're not have a 100% close rate with women. There's a subset, as there is for every business. And that's the key. When we zeroed in on that, and it was in this other people who agree with us about embracing what is great about the way that women naturally do business together. And it's not just us. There's a podcast that I would like to recommend to everybody. It's the NPR's Planet Money podcast subsidiary called The Indicator. It's a fantastic podcast. I recommend it just anyway. But on the May 24th episode, the title is Why Women Make Great Bosses. And they talk, it's a 10-minute episode, and they reference a woman named Corinne Post, who has done a big study on this. But one of the things they found is that when women are in positions of leadership, profitability tends to increase by up to 15%. And that's across the board, all kinds of companies, all kinds of situations. And then if you listen to the episode, you'll get a lot more information and go deeper on the study. We're going to post that study itself and this episode on our social media platforms and everything. So it'll make it easy to follow. But there's a lot of evidence out there that says that doing business like a woman is a path to not just profitability, but happiness. Like, it's a much less stressful. Like, the day that I just was like, I'm done pretending that I want to do anything in a masculine or the way it's always been done, I got a lot happier. Like, as a bottom line, like, I just liked business better.
Yeah. Whenever I shake hands with a woman and my hand is crushed, I realize that someone, gave her the advice to always do a very strong handshake like a man. And I was like, it's insidious, really, the advice that we get and the paradigms that, keep getting parroted around, whether or not they're effective or not. But yes, I encourage you, more and more studies are coming out now that women have been, getting seats at the table and building their own tables. Now we have enough data points to see the success that women achieve when they are put in positions of, running companies, positions of leadership. It's not just that study. It's not just one study. You look at venture capital studies, there's a lot of data there that women who are given venture capital are much more successful than men in similar roles, similar industries. So anyway, there's a place for all of us in business, but
absolutely. Well, and we would like to encourage everyone to jump on this hashtag Do Business Like a Woman movement that we are trying to start. And if you go to our blog at sparent.co on our website, we have a blog. We kind of tell that story about the accountants and everything, but we actually kind of list out what we see as the qualities of doing business like a woman, which anybody can do. You don't have to be a woman. You don't have to identify as any specific gender. You could be anything, right? We're just, as a society, we don't lack language to like get more broader specific. So we're just sticking with Do Business Like a Woman, but it is just a title. It is a way to capture a list of qualities, criteria, and mindset that we think are important for doing business. And also, as another little side note, one of the reasons that we really wanted to launch this campaign is that with everything that is happening in government and politics and in the world, that is taking away rights and issues from women and affecting women in large numbers. The way to fight back really ultimately is by having wealth and controlling the means of wealth, that we need to take back that power from the people who've had it. And so we really want to encourage more women and women behaving people who understand Do Business Like a Woman, who maybe are afraid to stand out front and say, I'm woman, I'm going to do business my way. But but that build your company, seize the means of production and wealth, and start taking control of your life and the way that the world works. And
That's
so
right. Yeah.
everyone can join together.
Yeah, being wealthy through entrepreneurship gives women, we can take back that political and economic power. So that's why one of the main reasons it's so important to us. But we thank you for joining us on this episode of Business Learning Lab. We are at our time, and we will see you back here next week.